Welcome back to Great Day. School should be a safe haven for learning, but we've become all too familiar with the potential for tragedy down hallways and inside classrooms. There are those who dedicate their lives to protecting our kids through education and prevention. And here are tips on helping keep our kids safe at school is Rania Mankarious, the CEO of Crime Stoppers Houston. Hello there.
Hi, Deborah. Good morning.
All right, so, it's interesting because, there's always some danger and peril lurking. During the summer, parents were concerned about their kids hanging out different places and getting in trouble there. But something that we shouldn't think about is kids getting in trouble in school, finding themselves in a tough situation in school.
The world has changed and the conversations have to change when it comes to back to school. And for the most part, schools are safe and they're wonderful, and millions of children are going back to school in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But it takes that one situation to cause utter disaster. And that's what we have to be talking to our kids about. The suicidal student that turns homicidal.
Right.
The student that's showing signs of mental health issues. It is time that as a community we embrace that. And Crime Stoppers has been doing that since 1997.
Right. When it comes to school shootings, 10 between January and May.
Yes. And 2018 alone, so between January and May, the second semester of the last school year, we had 10 school shootings.
Yeah.
The two most known, Parkland, Florida, and of course Santa Fe. And one is too much.
Yeah.
One is too much. So Crime Stoppers studies these. We look at the signs. What was going on? How did it come to be? And then we offer a proactive solution, and it's been very active in the schools, as you know.
Right, because I know over the summer, a lot of schools were forced to kind of giddy up, if you will, and look at certain things. And one of the most obvious things is vulnerability.
Yes.
Most schools are easily accessible.
Absolutely. They're old buildings, and they were built to just house your kids as they learn math and science and reading. They weren't set up to be security measures. The windows, you have to look at the windows, the points of entry. There are doors that don't even lock. There are outside classrooms. So, the governor asked the entire state to stop and look at that, fortifying schools. There was the question of placing metal detectors at doors, arming teachers, having kids switch to clear backpacks. So there is a lot of discussion about what the community can do to keep schools safe.
Metal detectors, it seems simple. We all dealt with it at airports and things, but it's expensive, and that's why things are kind of grinding very slowly.
And it's hugely expensive, and it gives you a false sense of security because a metal detector at a school, I don't know that it's going to solve the problem. One, it's expensive. Two, there's many points of entry in a school. 3 kids are going for lunch and recess and back and forth. I don't think
those are kind of like those external things, because what we really have to deal with, as you touched on, is what is the motivating factor for someone. And so what can parents do? Because I am always shocked and surprised at how many times you'll go to a parent and say, did you realize your child was this tormented?
Exactly.
And they'll say,
no idea. They had no idea. You've got to start having conversations. It is uncomfortable. Nobody wants to do it, but you must. For the everyday family, you talk to your kids about being responsible citizens, about bullying, about cyberbullying, about what they post, how they engage with others, and about recognizing signs in other kids, posts that should be alarming.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow up my school next week. Well, just kidding. No, it's not a joke.
Right. And by the same time that parents should be paying attention, other students, if they see those types of posts, because that's the other thing that happens oftentimes is that after the fact, someone will say, yeah, I thought something was a little weird when they were posting this and posting that. They have to feel like there's a safe place for them to report these things.
Absolutely.
And it is.
Yeah, Crime Stoppers has a reporting platform. It's been around since, the early 80s. Kids and students and teachers and parents can call us anonymously at any time and give us this information, and it works. To date, we've removed almost 300 weapons from schools in Houston before they can be used against a student. But we've got to do more. We're now going into the schools. We're talking about mental health red flags. We're talking to the kids about what they can do to engage and protect their community. We're bringing those conversations out.
Of course, the school shooting situation is the one that just, I think, strikes the most fear in every parent's heart. What they don't pay, I think, more attention to is what can happen any day, every day, in terms of something like drugs, for example.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on the board of Palmer Drug Abuse Program and several other programs that deal with this, and it's crazy because it's not just the bad kid, it's the so-called bad kid, I'll say, it's the popular kids as well that can find themselves in that trap. And so you have to be hands-on and understand that the minute you say, oh, not my child, you're already in trouble.
You're opening the door, actually. We tell parents, know what the current trends are. Kids are using drugs, they're using synthetic drugs, they're also taking household items and turning them into...
Vaping is huge.
Vaping is huge. So parents need to know they've got to take an active role and have the tough conversations you don't want to have.
All right, Rania, thank you very much for the work that you all do. To report an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers, give them a call at 713-222-TIPS. That works out to be 713-222-8477. You can also report information online at crime-stoppers.org or download their mobile app. Up next, how you can celebrate the start of the school year.